Welcome to another class with me. I'm so happy that you've joined me. In this class, we're going to be working through the functional myofascial meridian line, and that runs through, like it sounds, a lot of the bigger, more functional muscles. So the lats, the pecs, the abs and obliques, as well as the glutes, and some of the thigh muscles as well. And these are the muscles, as I'm sure you can imagine, they are really responsible for a lot of dynamic movement. Whenever we have like a tricky balance, these are the muscles that really help us. So it's good to get these muscles fired up, strong, working, but also give them a chance to chill out and everything as well. So whenever you're ready, we will begin. So come into a tabletop position on all fours, hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, and just maybe take a few moments just wiggling around here if you feel that you need to do a little bit of kind of working out the kinks or whatever if you're kind of cold. But I want you to, whatever you're doing, think about creating some stability through your whole core, your whole spine, by activating the abdominal muscles, as well as the glutes. And I know it may feel a little bit weird to think about engaging your glutes, like squeezing your butt when you're in a tabletop position, but you can do it. So go ahead and get that activated. Bring your chin a little bit further away from the mat as well, so you're not drooping down in your head. And keep that activation. Extend the right leg to the back of the mat and lift the right leg up. Now straight away, you might have actually dropped in your belly and arched through your back. So I want you to come back to that neutral spine, maybe even take one hand up to your ribs and your hips, and just make sure you're not in a back bend, but you've got a nice neutral S-curve of your spine and your head hasn't dropped down. Then extend your right arm forward and just hold here. See if you can lift your arm a little bit higher up off the floor, your foot a little bit higher up off the floor, but without going into that back bend. So keep your abdominals nice and active. One more breath. Exhale, lower the knee, lower the hand, and extend the right leg back behind you. Again, just take a moment. Make sure that you haven't gone into any kind of back bend. That's not what we're going for here. More feeling of burning, perhaps through the right glutes and in the abdominal muscles. Extend your left arm forward. And breathe here, perhaps without letting your spine be affected or going into any kind of back bend. Can you lift your hand and lift your foot a little bit further away from the floor for one more breath? Good. Exhale, lower everything back down. Maybe wiggle it out. And come down onto your forearms. So have your elbows underneath the shoulders. They don't need to be any narrower than the shoulders. And try and have your forearms more or less parallel. If the hands go in a little bit, that's fine. But just be aware of the hands not going too far in. And in fact, wherever you are, I want you to now draw the elbows towards each other. And you should feel this activation through the pec muscles, the chest muscles, okay? So keep that activation. Keep pulling the elbows in. Find the activation of the core like we did just a few seconds ago, and extend both legs back into a forearm plank. And finally, once again, make sure your chin's not jutting forward. Bring your chin back. Take an inhale and an exhale. Keep the glutes nice and active as you inhale. Lower the hips down to the mat and bring your chin back as if you're going to Sphinx pose, but don't let the hips rest down. Lift back up for 5. Inhale, lower the hips, and exhale, lift back up for 4. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 3. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Keep squeezing the elbows in towards each other. Last one. Inhale, lower the hips down. Keep the glutes active. Keep a little bit of activation through the abdominals so the low back doesn't become compressed, but just take a little bit of a breather here. Keep the toes tucked under because we're not going to stay here for long. On your next inhale, lift the hips up once again and pull the left knee in towards your chest. See if you can glue the thigh into your chest. Create as much connection there as you can. So you're really using your abdominal muscles here. Rock your chin as far forward as you can, and then open your arms, open up the shoulders, the elbows to lean back. For 5. So lean forward and press it back. Just moving the shoulder joints mostly here. but trying to keep that left knee, that left thigh as close to the belly as you can. 2 more, rock forward and back. Last one, forward and back. Rock forward and lower the knee and the shin down to the mat. Come up onto the fingertips, lower the right knee down, pull the right heel into the butt, and walk the fingertips back towards your hips. Keep the glutes active. You can stay on your fingertips, or if it feels good, just stretching out all those muscles, but staying active through the glutes while we do so. Inhale, exhale, bring the hands back down. Lower the right toes to the mat and lift the right knee up off the mat. Take 1 step forward with the hands. So we come to bring a little bit more weight into the left knee. Pick up the left heel. So really using the hamstrings now, compressing in the hamstrings to pull the left heel up towards the butt. Swivel around to bring the left foot towards the right side of the mat as much as possible, and bring it back to center. 2 more. See if you can touch the right side of the mat with the left toes and bring it back to center. Last one. Touch as far over to the right with the left toes as you can. This time keep it there. Rock back into the right toes. Press into your hands. Lift up. Keep that external rotation. Maybe even go a little bit more to try and bring your shin towards parallel at the front of the mat. But you probably won't be able to get all the way to parallel. When you can't go any further, lower the shin down on the mat. So, almost towards a pigeon shape. Shuffle the right toes back behind you. So we're moving kind of towards pigeon, but gonna keep it nice and active. Keep the glutes active, lower the right knee down to the mat. And you can stay here just on your fingertips, or you can keep that right leg lifted. If this feels good for you and you want to take it a little bit further, you can bring your hands to your hips. Wherever you are, we're just going to kind of bounce a little bit here. So make sure you're not at end range motion. Lift yourself up off of your mat. Find a little bit of space to move into. And for 10 little bounces, we're going to go nice and quick. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Place the hands down under the shoulders. Press into the hands. Really protract through the shoulders. Create some space underneath your chest to lift the knee back up. See if you can bring the knee all the way in contact with your chest. And once more, lower it back down. This time, parallel to the long side of your mat. And we've got a few options for what's next. So tuck the left toes underneath you. So option 1, just kind of sit here, wherever's comfortable. If you're comfortable bringing your hips all the way down to your left heel, you can stay there, or you can have a little bit of space and you're just going to be using that leg muscle there to hold you up. Lean into the left fingertips for a little bit of stability. Or if you want to take it up a notch, try and do it hands free, and you can keep that knee down. And again, if it works for you to be sitting right down on the heel or lift it back up, whatever works. Or if you really want to challenge your balance, lift the knee up so you're just on the left toes. Okay, you can do this with the fingers down as well. Because I'm still recovering from my ankle injury, I'm opting for option 1 with the knee down and my hand down. Pick up the right leg back behind you, swing the right leg all the way to the front, and wrap back around to the back. 2 more of those. Bring it all the way to the front and to the back. Last one, up to the front and to the back. Good. Bring the hands back down. Tuck the right toes under. Press into your hands. Lift the left leg up off the mat and extend it back behind you. Take a little stretch in a 3-legged down dog. And lower the left leg back down. Lower the knees. Come onto the forearms. Find your core stability. Find your pectoral muscles active. Pull the elbows in towards each other. And extend the legs straight back behind you. This time, draw the right knee in towards your chest. I'm gonna have to adjust a little bit. If you need to as well, do so. Just make sure you keep squeezing the elbows in towards each other and try and glue your right knee into your chest, and we'll rock forward and back. So we're keeping the hips low, keeping the whole body quite low to the floor, just moving through the shoulders. 2 more of these. Rock forward and back and forward and back. Last one. As you rock forward, lower the right shin down to the mat. Press the arms straight. Lower the left knee and pull the left heel towards the butt. You can stay here, or if it feels comfortable, to stretch out a little bit more through the front body. You may even want to open up the arms. Just take them wide, whatever. You're going to stretch out those pecs as well. Glutes stay active throughout this, though. So a bit of a tricky balance. I like to do my stretching in a tricky balance because it means I'm not going to go too far into flopping into my joints. Got to stay active. I think that's the way to do it for me. Lower the hands back down. Take 1 step forward with the hands. Left leg is lifted. So same as before, we're going to just pull the right heel towards the butt, but keep the right knee down. And swivel on that right knee. See if you can just touch your toes to the left side of the mat. Pull it back up, come back to center. 2 more times. Lower. Touch the right toes to the left of the mat. Pull it back to center. Last one. Touch as far over to the left as you can. Back to center. And then we'll just lower. We'll stay there and press into your hands. Bring the chest a little bit away from the mat so you can pick that leg up, and maybe see if you can, just without the help of any external forces, externally rotate your shin as if you're trying to get it to parallel at the front of the mat, but just as far as you can go, and then lower it back down. Shuffle the left foot back behind you a little bit, so same as before, lowering slowly towards a pigeon shape, but staying nice and active. So try and do what you did on the other side, whichever option you took. If you were down or if you were on fingertips, if you pulled the back leg up or onto the toes with the left knee lifted. Come up out of it just a little bit so you've got some space to bounce. And for 10, we're going to just bounce here. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Lower the hands back down. Lift up just enough to adjust your right shin back into parallel to the long side of the mat. Tuck the right toes under. So you may want to do what you did on the other side, or if you want to take it, if you want to try one of the other options, you can do the same. So remember, you can have the knee down, one hand to support you, maybe try doing it without hands. If you really want to challenge yourself, I think I can do it on this side. No hands, no knee, just on the toes. And we'll take it up the left leg, swing it around all the way to the front and to the back for 3. And to the front, to the back for 2. And to the front, to the back for 1. Good, lower the hands back down. Left toes tucked under, lift the left knee up. Take the right leg all the way back into 3-leg down dog. Stretch it out a little bit. And lower the right foot back down, lower the knees down. Just for a moment, we're going to take a child's pose, just to close the eyes, kind of recalibrate the breath. Perhaps take a moment just to remember all of the best moments that you've had on your yoga mat or in your yoga practice. Those times where you're like, oh yeah, this is why I do it. What you get out of this practice. Sometimes when we're really challenged, it's easy to want to just quit, to walk away, especially, if you're doing this at home and you're on your own and there's nobody there that's kind of forcing you to do this, but yourself. Remember all of those times in your life when you've persevered through a challenge and you were so happy you did it in the end. And like always, remember that the breath is your key to staying calm through even the most challenging situations. Whenever you're ready, place the hands flat, lift the hips up and tuck the toes under. Press the hips high and the chest back towards the thighs in a downward facing dog. You can be static here or wiggle around. I'm hardly ever static in my yoga practice, to be honest. I really like to wiggle and move, so I totally understand if you want to do the same. We're just going to move through a little bit of some fun kicks. We're going to kick the leg up with a bent knee, and then right up at the top, we'll straighten it. So it's a very quick movement, and you may even find that the bottom leg lifts up as you do so. So we'll do 10 of those. With the feet at the center of the mat, lift the left leg up, bend the left knee, bring it in line with the right knee, put a little bend in the right knee, and shoot the left leg up, straightening the knee right up at the top, then bend again for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, this is good handstand practice, 4, 3, 2, 1. This last one, can you jump to land your right foot at the front of the mat? So we just kick up, right foot lands right up at the top. Don't be afraid to bring a lot of weight into your hands to get that more of a float rather than a jump. Stay here for just a breath in your standing split, and we'll slowly come all the way up to stand. Bring the left knee right up into the chest, and just like we did when we were in our plank, without using your hands or anything else, see if you can kind of find like a pigeon shape or a figure 4 shape of your leg. So try and bring the ankle as high up from the floor as your knee is. It probably won't go that high, but that's the kind of direction we're going in. When you can't get any higher, start to bend into the right knee and place the ankle, the bottom of the shin on the knee, and sit the hips down. Now, you can stay here, or you can do a little prep for our flying pigeon, Dalavasana here. So if it's comfortable, you can bring the chest down towards the shin, place the hands down. And what we're going for is to hook the right foot around the top of the right arm, with the left knee resting quite high up towards the armpit of the left arm. Now, as I mentioned, I'm still recovering from an ankle surgery, so I'm just going to stay here, and I'll talk you through the rest of the arm balance on the other side. But for now, maybe you're just with me here and this is good enough for you. And what we'll do is shift the weight into your hands so you can take a little hop off of the right foot. So whether you're here or in the arm balance, we can kind of just take a little jump back into a downward facing dog. Extend the left leg up and back. Just open up, maybe circle the hip out a little bit, and lower the left foot back down. So we'll do the same on the right side. So lift the right leg up, bend the right knee, put a little bend in the left knee, and get ready for 10. Shooting the leg up towards the ceiling, maybe with a little hop off of the left foot. So for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And can you do one more where you land your left foot all the way at the front of the mat, lowering down nice and slow, or maybe it looks a bit faster than that. That's all good. Take a moment in a standing split and slowly, with control, bring yourself up to stand. Don't let the right foot touch. Bring the right knee all the way up towards your chest. Stay here, balancing on the left foot, and play around with your range of motion of that right leg. So we're not trying to do anything with the foot or anything like that. It's the way the femur is rotating in the socket joint of the hip. How much can you rotate that externally to bring your right ankle as far away from the mat as where your right knee is? When you know you can't go any further, start to bend into the left knee. Place the right ankle really above the ankle bone on the left knee. Bend into the left knee, sink the hips back. You can stay here. If you start to lose your balance, just check if your core muscles have switched off. and get them back on again. You'll probably find your balance. Slowly, if it's comfortable, lower your chest closer and closer towards the right shin, and maybe place the hands down on the mat. So here we are. What we're aiming for is getting the right knee really right up to the armpit of the right arm, like you're trying to wipe your deodorant off on your knee for some reason. And then the right foot, you want to kind of wrap it around, like really grab with the toes around the left tricep. So once you've got that, you really want to recruit all of that strength, and I know you've got it because you've just been working on it. So push the chest away from the mat, get like a roundedness through the spine, lift up through the core, and start to bend your elbows straight back behind you. Don't let them go out wide. Point them to the back of the mat. You create a little bit of a shelf that you can rest your right shin on. And keep shifting your weight towards your fingertips. Really trust your fingers. Maybe you bring all of your weight into your hands so you can lift the left leg back up behind you. Really pull the heel into your butt. You could stay here or maybe even extend. Really think about lifting the hips up as far behind you as you can. Now you can lower the left foot behind you or just shoot it all back into your three-legged down dog. So untwist your legs, lift the right leg up and back, stretch it out, maybe do a few little circles, whatever feels good. And bring yourself back once more into your downward facing dog. All right, finally, can you just step your left foot to where your right foot is? So move your right foot out of the way and bring your left foot there. Take your right foot, cross it over the front of the left, and place it where the left foot was. Start to bend the knees. Make sure that the right knee ends up clear of the left, so you can lower both knees down to the mat. Maybe pick the feet up, place the feet a little bit wider, make some space for your hips, and kind of shuffle your way back down towards cow face. Pose. And you can stay here, kind of wiggle around a little bit. This is one, feels good for me to wiggle. And we'll eventually bring the hands back just enough so you can release the legs out in front. Bring the left knee into your chest. Allow it to go back down out to the side. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Press the right heel down into the mat. Exhale, fold forward, Janushirshasana. Come back up. Keep your legs the way they are. Recline onto your back. Lift the legs up. Press the left heel into the thigh. So you're kind of like in a reclined tree pose. Now you can stay here, or what I think feels really nice, if you just take your left hand to your left foot and right hand at the back. So you're kind of helping that foot stay in place. And lift the hips up to come into a reclined Janushirshasana. So it's the same posture we just did. We're just flipping it over onto our backs. And, you can just kind of roll around a little bit. Maybe give yourself a little bit of a back massage. Or if you're not into it, you can always just go into your more traditional Janushirshasana. We'll release that. Roll over, plant the hands, jump back, downward facing dog. You're free, of course, to just do one last vinyasa if you've still got it in you for a little bit more, maybe a few little spinal waves. There's always opportunity to keep moving. Whenever you're ready, though, we'll take the right foot to where the left foot is in our downward facing dog, cross the left foot over the front of the right, and place it down where the right foot was. Start to bend the knees, lifting the heels up. Make sure that the left knee is clear, so you are able to get both knees down to the mat. Pick the feet up and spread them wide. Make some space for your hips and slowly just wiggle your way back into your cow face pose. If your hips don't make it down to the mat either, then that's fine. You can kind of just stay here with a little bit of weight forward. And make your way back to extend the legs out in front. Same as before. This time with the right leg, pull the right knee into the chest, allow the leg to fall out to the side. Inhale, reach the arms up, stretch tall. Exhale, press down through the left heel and extend the arms towards the left foot. So you can stay here, or if you liked your reclined variation, we'll roll up and down onto our backs. Keep that kind of tree shape pose of the legs and extend the left leg to point up towards the ceiling. Take the right hand to the right foot, clasp the left hand back behind it. And just because we're using our hands doesn't mean we can't stay a little bit active. So keep using a little bit of hip activation to press the knee away from you. But it doesn't have to be like 100%, especially here. We've done a lot. Allow yourself to relax a little bit. And it's just a matter of, as you fold the leg in, allow the hips to come up off the mat. You know, it's a matter of like listening to your body, becoming aware of like where you're going to out of ego, pushing yourself too far just because you want to go to a shape, and where you're going because your body allows it to, and that's what feels right for your body. I think that, you know, there's an endless opportunity, an endless amount of information on what's happening in our bodies. You know, anatomy, like you can study it for years and still not understand it. And instead of getting overwhelmed with trying to understand if you're doing something wrong or doing something right, just remember that as long as you're moving slowly, mindfully, and you're not doing the same thing too often over and over and over again, which we don't really do in our yoga practice anyway, then you're probably going to be okay. If something starts to feel uncomfortable, listen to it and honor that. So once again, we'll slowly unravel, and feel free to take one last vinyasa, maybe a few more handstands. And I do have some handstand drills on my Patreon account if you're interested in learning some handstand drills from me. But otherwise, use this opportunity to take that awareness of your body and make any movements that you feel you need. So you can slowly move into relaxation or move into the rest of your day, whatever works for you. But whatever you're doing, please do take time at some point today to relax your body and relax your mind. Find stillness. Practice that peaceful awareness of what happens when you slow down and allow silence to come into your life for just a few minutes. Please take your time moving on to whatever you feel you want to do at this point. But for now, I will leave you. Thank you so much for joining me. I am super proud of you. I know that these classes are not the easiest, but like always, remember they do get easier with time because you get stronger. Make sure and subscribe. Make sure and check out all my other videos, and have an amazing day. Namaste.